Hey, Fish a Lotta here with Fishy Review. Today we've got a story about Carnival Goldfish. This summer we won 4 different goldfish at 2 different carnivals, and I thought I'd tell a story about that and also tell you what you guys could do if that happens to you. What do you do next? This summer we had a carnival in town and we thought it'd be a good idea to take the kids. They hadn't been to something like that in a long time. So we get there and they have a few rides. It's not a very big carnival. They have some games. Of course, one of the games is the goldfish game, where you throw a ping pong ball. You try to throw it into a little bowl of water and try to catch the ping pong ball in the water, and if you get it in there, you win a goldfish. So of course, that was like the first thing we walked up to at the carnival, and we went ahead and tried it. I think it was $10, got us 40 balls to throw in the goldfish bowls. So we start doing that. The kids both, you reach in the bucket and they're throwing balls, they're missing, they're going out on the pavement, outside of the booth, they're missing completely, they're bouncing out, they're going everywhere. None of them are going in at all. Just not even. It's getting hopeless, right? We're getting through the balls. I threw a couple, I didn't get any. And we're getting down to the bottom of the bucket. We got down to the very last ball, and my son, he was just, you could see the look on his face. He was about to give up. And he just takes that ball and he kind of throws it as a, I give up. I'm gonna throw the ball. I don't think it's gonna make it. And he throws it and it goes in. And he just goes nuts. He runs around screaming happy. And he just can't believe he got it on the last ball. It made it just that much more special for him. And then they gave us the fish and had it in a bag. And of course, they wanted to do a bunch of rides still, so I had to hold on to the fish for a while. Then a little while later, we get home and I thought about what we're gonna do with the fish while we're sitting at the carnival. And I had a 20-gallon tank that was ready to go. It cycled. I think it had a couple snails in it. It didn't make a good quarantine tank for a fish. We put the fish in this 20-gallon tank and he seemed okay for a day or two, but then after a while his fins were starting to look kind of clamped up, where he was holding his fins against his body, and he was swimming in the corner real weird and also kind of jerking and flashing as if there was something wrong with him. And I don't know what it is, we'll call it him. The only thing I had on hand was salt and ick-X. Now I didn't see any ick growing on the fish, which would look like little white spots, so I thought, well, I've got this, at least it'll kill other external parasites. So I used that and 1 tablespoon of salt for every 2 gallons of water. So it was 10 tablespoons of salt in this 20-gallon tank. And the fish didn't really get any better right away. And I also figured it was probably internal parasites because I didn't see anything on the fish. I had seen an article on the internet on the Aquarium Co-op website where they recommend what you could do with new fish or sick fish. And it involves treating them with 3 medications at once, which is ick-X, Maricin, and Paracleanse. But I didn't have all those. I only had the ick-X, so I had to order the other 2. I looked around town first, but nobody carried the others. So I ordered the medications from them and they came in a few days, and the fish was fine until then. It didn't get any better or any worse. You can read the article. I'll put a link to it in the description. It says what to put in the tank to treat your fish, which is what I did. And you put those medications in the tank and you leave them in there for a week, and they say try not to feed the fish for 5 days if you can, which this is what I did. I think I waited 3 or 4 days to feed the fish, because after about 4 days, the fish looked great. He was swimming around normally. He wasn't hanging out in the corner. He was begging for food, doing all the stuff that a fish should do. His fins even darkened up and he got some dark spots on him. I don't know if those are permanent because today they're not there, but there for a while he looked like he was black and gold. And he just looked really good and he was happy. So I started feeding him, changed the water on the tank, and everything was good. And I'm glad he got better because my son was really attached to him already, and after having won him on that last ping pong ball, luckily he survived. Then a few weeks later, another carnival came to town and the kids wanted to go, so we did. We spent a long time there. We played the goldfish game. We won 1 goldfish and we brought that one home, and I had a 10-gallon tank that was a quarantine tank. I could put him in. I put him in there. I treated him with the same medications, but this fish within 3 or 4 days was dead. It just wasn't healthy. So that was a little sad. And the carnival was still in town, so a couple days later, we went over there just to ride a couple rides and play the goldfish game, and that was it. And of course, this time we get another 100 balls, and they won 2 goldfish. So we brought those 2 home. I did the same thing. I put them in that tank. I treated it with the medicines, and the fish did great. And today they're still doing well. So the next thing I'm going to do is move the 2 goldfish into the 1 tank, and I'll show you that. And I'm going to have my son Josh help us, and he's the one that won the first fish. And also, if you could hit that like button, that would really help me out. It means a lot. And if you like this video, you want to see more, hit that. If you'd like to see more, also subscribe. That really helps you, it helps us. Now let's move these fish.
Hello. I have been in one video for not even a second. It's a non-popular video. You probably don't know. It's just whatever.
Now this is Josh who won the first goldfish. And he's rubbing his face, which is terrible for the video.
Don't care.
This is Josh who won the first goldfish. And he's going to help me catch the fish and move them from one tank to the other. So let's do that. Now, let's get down here. Okay, so we've got our 2 goldfish tanks. Let's get them open. We're going to put... Here's the goldfishies. Okay, what do you think about these goldfish, Josh?
I think one of them looks like a koi.
You think so? Which one? Here, get down on the ground. Get down here.
People know what a koi is. They're just giving a reminder what a koi looks like. That is pretty close to a koi. Not that one. That one's just probably a regular yellow goldfish, but that looks like a koi.
They're really active, aren't they?
I know, but by the way, guys comment say if it's a koi or a goldfish.
So what you're saying is,
it's a koi or a goldfish.
if you guys, what do you guys think? Do you think these are regular goldfish? Do you think they're baby koi? What are these things? This guy's really cool.
I know.
So if I can zoom in on him, this guy, he's a little bit plainer color, but he's nice. And then this guy over here, here's the first one. These are the second 2 goldfish, or the last 2 goldfish. These are the last 2 goldfish that we won. And Beck, look over here. Let's get some. Look at this guy. Here's the first one we won, and here's what he's looking like these days. He's getting pretty big. Trying to focus on him. There he is. He's swimming around. He's doing good. All three of them are hungry. So what we're gonna do, these tanks have the same water temperature and the same kind of water. I'm just going to transfer them. Yeah, they're all healthy now. I'm gonna try to catch these guys. Come on. Dun, 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 dun. No. Go up. Look. Ooh, I almost had him.
Oh, you got a corner.
I get it. We got to go up underneath them. That's the easiest way. See that? I'm gonna get him over here. I'm gonna put him in the other tank with his new friends. They've been looking at each other through the glass because they can see through the tanks here. And then
your new air.
We're gonna get
the speedy one.
This guy. I can go under him. Oops, I didn't quite get that on video. There we go.
Speedy one is so speedy. Speedy.
There you go. Now, in your new home, what do we think, guys?
I think they look cool.
I think they got a big plant in here and some snails.
Snails.
And they can hang out here and get used to their new water. They got their new friend over here in the corner. Everybody's a little freaked out because the net was in there. They thought they were getting eaten.
Yeah.
They're not getting eaten. They're just getting moved. All right.
Cute.
All right.
These 2 goldfishes are being close, and then the third goldfish is saying hi, but it's so fast that it just literally bonked a snail.
All right. Well, they've been moved.
They've been moved. What do we do?
Now we just let them hang out and grow up. Someday we'll move them to a bigger tank, won't we?
Montage time.
Montage time. Montage of goldfish swimming around. Maybe we could do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Like and subscribe if you want. See more about the fish and how we treat them and what to use.
Yep. Yep. We're going to talk about that next in this video.
And how the strats to possibly win goldfish at the carnival.
Well, we're not going to do that. Now, what about your situation? Did you just win a goldfish at a carnival? I get it. I have 10 aquariums here. I have a place to put them. It wasn't a big thing for me to have a spot to put them when we got home. But you may not have that. Maybe the carnival people sold you one of these little plastic containers that's really for crickets. They have pictures of fish on the container and hamsters, but you wouldn't want to put really either one of those very long. That might get you through the night. If you need somewhere to keep the fish overnight, I guess you'd have to do that. If you're thinking where to keep your goldfish, the first thing that comes to mind might be goldfish bowl. That's traditional in a way. I don't know why. It's not a very good place to keep a fish like that. They get big, and it's hard to keep the water parameters stable in a bowl with just a gallon or half a gallon or a quart of water in it. So the best thing to do would be to get at least a 10-gallon tank, and really a 20-gallon tank would help buy you a lot of time. So you don't have to upgrade tanks multiple times over their life. And so these are 20-gallon tanks behind me. This is a 20 gallon. You can get a 20 long, that's a little bit shorter. This is a 20 high, I think you'd call it. But that's a nice sized tank, and that tank has quite a few little fish in it. Now, if you're still watching this video, you might be really new to keeping fish. So I'm going to tell you two really important things you need to know about keeping fish. The first is the nitrogen cycle, which is how their waste is processed. So when a fish eats food, then it puts out ammonia, and that ammonia gets turned by good bacteria into nitrite, and other good bacteria turned into nitrate. But the ammonia and the nitrite that end up in the water are deadly to the fish, so you have to have that cycle in place to get that out of the water quickly. You can kickstart this nitrogen cycle a couple different ways. One way would be that there are products that you can buy out there that will contain live bacteria. You can pour those in your water. And the other would be to maybe borrow some gravel or media from somebody else's established tank, which will help seed that in your tank. It'll work faster that way. And you should probably also get a test kit so that you know if you have ammonia in the water, and you can keep an eye on it while things get started. Now, the other really important thing is that, at least I can speak for the United States, that if you have city water, that your water is going to contain chlorine or chloramine, or it may alternate between the two. It does here where I live. They change it out during the year. Whenever you add new water to the tank, you have to add some of the water conditioner. One that I like to use currently is Prime from Seachem. It's just something I've been using for a while. There's others, they work fine. So use what you prefer, what you can find. One thing I can say about Prime is that it locks up the ammonia in the water too. So if your tank is cycling still, then that can help keep the fish healthy by making the ammonia not so harmful. And another thing, as far as getting a fish tank, you can easily find them used on Marketplace on Facebook, for instance, or Craigslist, or one of those places. There's a lot of smaller tanks for sale pretty cheap out there. People want to unload them at pennies on the dollar for what they paid for the equipment, or you can always go to the store and buy a new one so you know that you've got something that won't leak, or is at least guaranteed should it leak. And here with our goldfish, they're in the 20 gallon now, but I plan to move them to a 55 gallon once they get bigger. Now, how do you take care of your goldfish in the long term? So if you keep your fish alive for the first few days, the first few weeks, what do you do now? What else do you need to know? Well, goldfish do best at cooler temperatures than other tropical fish. 68 to 74 degrees would be recommended. And if you have a tank in your house, you may not need a heater, but if you let your house drop below 68 degrees in the winter, or if you really like a big air conditioning bill in the summer and drop it down below that in the summer, then you would need a heater in the tank to make sure it doesn't drop below 68 degrees. I would also recommend feeding them goldfish food. I've got this Tetra goldfish flake food here. I got it at a big box store, easily available. There's other brands. I don't have a preference, that's just what I have right now. But when you buy food that's for goldfish, it's made for their digestive systems to help make sure they don't get clogged up or get swim bladder problems that will make them float to the top or not be able to float up at all. Goldfish are prone to those kind of problems sometimes. Goldfish have a lot of personality. I admit, I've never kept goldfish. I don't remember having any goldfish in all my years of fish keeping, and I've had tanks continuously for years and years and years. They come right up to the front of the tank and they beg for food, and they just seem like they know what they're doing. I don't know, they're fish. But they just come right up there and they're after your food, and they'll aggressively eat from the top of the water if they're healthy. What about other fish that you could keep with them so that they're not alone in the tank? Well, a lot of tropical fish you may not be able to keep with them unless you're going to push the temperature up around the top end up to that 74 degrees. Then you've got some overlap with other fish. Like, it would be hard to keep them with angelfish because angelfish do better at about 80 degrees, and 74 for angelfish is not good, but 80 degrees for goldfish is just too much. So things that I would keep with them include mystery snails, who like lower temperatures, and they would do well. The fish might nip their tentacles and make them keep them retracted all day, but you know, mystery snails have a tough life that way. And another would be white clouds, which are also known as the white cloud mountain minnow, and that means they're from cool mountain streams, so they like cool temperatures. And of course, white clouds also do good at warmer temperatures, but they could be kept with goldfish in a cooler tank. And giant danios would be another great choice. They're fun fish and they're easy to take care of. Platies are another good choice. Bristlenose plecos are a great choice too because they would eat algae and they don't get very big. They get 4 to 6 inches long at most, and that's a big difference from the common plecos that can get up to 2 feet long, and those are really not appropriate for most tanks. But a bristlenose will eat algae and help keep your tank looking good. So if you've looked up this video on YouTube, it probably is because you're newer to keeping fish and you want to know what to do with these fish you want at the carnival. So I would recommend you watch other videos. There's other stuff out there. Learn about the hobby. It's really a great hobby. It's fun. It's nice to have fish. I've had fish for years and I definitely want my kids exposed to it. They enjoy it. This is Fishalati here with Fishy Review signing off. Remember, keep it fishy and have fun. Thanks.